Hey gamers, I have a video here of this awesome Dragonfly dropship by Dragon's Rest. I think this is one of the more incredible ships that you can print out on your 3D printer, your FLM printer, and I think it turned out really awesome. So this is a quick tutorial on how to put the model together once you print it out, as well as how to speed paint it. And so I was able to paint this relatively quickly. So first thing you want to do, if you haven't already, is go to Dragon's Rest, and all of these links are going to be down below in the descriptions. But go to the sci-fi section, and this is part of actually a whole pack of different kinds of vehicles and other things that you can make. And so here on their website, they actually do have a tutorial on how to put the whole thing together. But I figure seeing it live will help you guys out as well. So these are all of the parts that you can get, and there is a PDF, which is what I followed to put together my ship, and it wasn't that difficult. You do have to print out some clips in order to put the thing together, but it comes apart as well relatively easily. So let's go ahead and dive in. Alright, so you want to make sure all your pieces are out like this, and I printed all of these roofs with the supports because it just looks a lot better when you're printing horizontally like this with the lines this way rather than flat. And these supports come off really easily, so print the ones with supports. So what we're going to do is grab this as the foundation, and going to grab this one, the one with the fat edge here, is going to go on one of these edges. And so I printed out a bunch of these clips, about 100 of them. I have no idea how many of these that I actually need, but go ahead and clip these in here like this. Maybe for now let's just use 2. And clip it in there like this. And then grab one of these. I grabbed the one with the fire extinguisher here on this side, facing towards the front of the ship. And then basically that clips in there like this. And then next is the seat, the pilot seat. And that's going to clip in like that. And then the cockpit goes in. So I printed with the supports, but most of the supports failed. So I don't know if you really need it. I think these gaps might droop a little bit, but I did print, and then as you can see here, these still are in. I haven't knocked them out because I might possibly want to keep them in for painting. But let's go ahead and clip this in. And we're going to grab this one. So we grab the one with the leg over here.
So these are the pieces that you don't really need to spray paint because these are all exterior colors. So we're going to leave those alone and just take these out to paint all of these pieces. So let's go paint it.
So this is where I'm masking off the parts where I do not want the red spray from the exterior to get inside. So obviously with the cockpit and all of these windows, you need to mask it off so that the interior will remain silver. And so I just spent some time using this painter's tape to just cover any of the parts to prevent any of the red from spraying inside of this cockpit. Then also with these engines, I only want these external panels to be painted red, and so I'm going to mask off the entire thing on the internal parts of the engine so that they remain silver. I also am going to put some paint on the inside of these coverings, again, because I don't want the red to come inside into the interior, so I want to cover that up and mask it out. And so here's what it looks like once I put it back together again after masking, and I took these side engine mounts off as well. And then I also need to reprint this bottom part because it's warped. But we're gonna go ahead and take this outside and spray, and all these parts are covered to prevent any red from being sprayed inside. And this is my red primer. You can use any primer, and this is going to be the darker color, and so I'm focusing in on spray painting the underside of the model here because that's what I'm going to keep this darker reddish color. Now I'm going to grab this chalky finish scarlet, but you can pick any color that you want, obviously. And what I like about the chalky line is that it is really flat. And it's hard to get paint that's ultra flat, except for your base gray and primers that are black and white. And so I found this Krylon chalky finish brand to be really good. So I'm going to give it a nice good coat. And pointing down because again I want the underside, the undercarriage of the model to remain that darker rusty gray or rusty red. So here's the model after it dries. And you can see it's a nice even coat. Sometimes you can do a second coat if needed, but I didn't have to do that. I got it all in one coat. And as you can see, it sort of blends with the darker red towards the bottom. And so you're getting a little bit of shading from being two-tone. And then this is what the inside looks like. And so none of the paint leaked inside. And then go ahead and take all of your tape off anywhere that you masked it. And as you can see here, it turned out really clean looking. And then go ahead and just grab whatever craft paints that you want to paint the interiors. And really it's just these seats that I'm painting. Nothing else in the interior really needs any painting other than the seats. And then you want to grab some silver and paint a lot of the exterior parts that need to be silver. After you're done with that, I go ahead and mix my own Nuln oil. You don't have to do that. You can just use Nuln oil or any other dark wash that you want, and apply it to all of the silver. Do not apply it to the red. I just apply it to any silver that I painted. And here it is on the interior side. So here's what it looks like, all of the silver parts with that wash on there. Just gives it a little bit more depth. But I don't bother doing it with the red. I want the red to remain pretty even. And then of course you can pull it apart rather than being a heavy dropship. If you remove this middle section and reattach the tail to it, it becomes a lighter dropship. And I know that you can purchase these if you don't have a 3D printer on Etsy. There's a number of people who have licenses to print these for you, so you can purchase them. But I think the smaller version also looks really neat. So there you have it pretty much. I think this model is awesome, and hopefully this tutorial was helpful in helping you know how to put it together as well as paint it and then put it on your tabletop for some awesome gaming. So thanks, as always, like and subscribe. Check out my Patreon page for what our giveaway is for the month. But we will see you next time.